I'm Uri. I'm coming here from Israel. Actually, I'm here with my wife, Ariella. We are on our honeymoon. Visiting Japan. This is like our second week here. We've been to Tokyo, to Hiroshima, and Miyajima, and today we have been to Nara. Came directly here. And I'm doing a lot of stuff with electronics and with virtual reality, programming. Actually, there is my blog, you can check it out later. The latest post is about my first week here. But I have a lot of posts about projects that I do with software, with electronics. I heard you spoke about Python, so also some are Python related, though I mostly do web and JavaScript. Do we have any web developers here? Oh yeah. So this session is going to be about a technology that is coming to us that is called WebVR. But actually you don't need to know anything about web development to use it. It's very simple, at least for beginning. It's very simple, as we'll see in a moment. But first of all, how many of you have done any kind of VR experience? Oh,
Besides in a store?
In a store, that's fine. That's all right. That's perfect because I'm traveling. Usually, I have my VR at home, but I don't have it now. So you will have to use your imagination a little bit. But since you all, or almost all of you, did it, that's not a problem. All right. So actually, what we are looking at right now is a small HTML page I prepared for you, and what we are going to do, we are going to turn this page into a 3D scene that can be later used on any VR headset. So first of all, let me open my code editor and do what I really love doing as a developer, which is just taking all of this code and deleting it. It's my favorite thing to do. Let's say hello, see, okay, so the setup works. Whenever we change something here, we see it on the right. Now, basically WebVR allows us to create 3D worlds and also interact with various controllers that you hold in your hands and get input from them. And it's a complicated API that uses WebGL, and there is a lot of code that you need to write even to display a simple pixel screen. Luckily, there is a library that makes it easier called Tryst. Anybody heard of it? Just heard, not used. All right. But we are not going to use it today because there is another library on top of it that makes it even simple. And that library is called A-Frame. So let's load A-Frame into our page. So we'll just add a script tag that loads A-Frame. The address is not really important. You can get it from the A-Frame homepage later. There is a bunch of examples there. And as soon as we loaded it, the page is still blank because we need to create a scene. A scene is where we will create our 3D world. So we just add a scene tag, and have you noticed what happened at the corner of the screen? I'm hiding it. Yeah, so it added this icon, which if we had a VR headset would open this page in VR. And we'll see it later, but first of all, the first thing we need to do, the world is empty right now, so I will add a small sphere object. And in order for us to see it, we need to put it somewhere, so I will give it a position, not poison, 0, 0, and so that's x0, y0, that would be at the standard, and -5 means 5 meters into the screen, right? And here you can see it's very pale, it's a little bit shy, so let's give it some color. Which color should we use?
Green.
Red, green, blue. I heard green first. So we have a green sphere hanging here. And actually this is pretty much boring right now because it's all white. So I'm going to use a plugin for A-Frame called Environment Plugin, and I'm going to create an entity which is just another way to say object, 3D object in the A-Frame world. So A-Sphere is also an entity, it's just a shortcut that creates an entity with a sphere. And we can say we want this to use the environment plugin, and as soon as we do that, we get the environment. But we can also use some presets, like we can ask for forest, for instance, and we get forest. And if we look at the A-Frame environment plugin page, we can see it has a bunch of other presets. Let me see if there is anything interesting right here.
Poison?
Poison?
What's poison?
Well, we had it before, so we must try it. Poison.
What is that?
What is that?
Sort of bubbling.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it looks like Manhattan to me.
I thought maybe the red stuff was the poison. It looks like
Life sound.
So
acid or something.
we have a bubble in a sea of red blood. I don't know what's that poison. Japan. All right.
Oh yeah.
We should try that. So
They don't
preset
all look like Manhattan.
Japan.
Oh! Miyajima!
Coming back to Miyajima. All right. So we had this environment. Now we have this sphere. I'm starting to like it, but this sphere looks a little bit like hello world. We need something more fun. So I'm going to change this sphere and just download some model that I can use in my game. There is a nice service from Google called Poly, which is just a big collection of 3D models that you can download and use. Let's search for something that...
Is that free?
It is free. Most of them are free. Like, I don't know, we can go for Pokemon. And get, we need to filter downloadable. This is remixable, means downloadable. So we have got a bunch of Pokemon models we can use. How about this one? I will take that as yes.
Sure.
Alright, so all we need to do is just download it. We need to use the GLTF format. GLTF is a format that is common to WebGL. It's like the standard format for WebGL, so anything 3D on the web would use this format. Let's open this and put it in the that was Osaka VR in our together with our web page, and it's called model.gltf. So in order to load this file, all we need to do is just add another entity, and give it the source of, it was model, right? The name of the file?
Yeah.
And again, let's put it at the same place as this sphere, and we're going to save, and something will happen. I'm not sure what, but something is going to happen. Here's what happened, nothing!
Is it inside the sphere?
yeah.
Is it the same place?
That was my guess.
No, that's a good one. Actually, I know. The problem is I should tell it to use GLTF model to tell it the type of model. Here we go.
Oh.
There he is.
It could be inside.
Yeah, actually, it seems like this model has some problem, as you can see, because it should be inside the sphere, but it's shifted. So let's try another one, maybe. Which is, I mean, we can fix that. That would be a little bit more code, but actually, we watched the movie Totoro. Let's see if they have Totoro here. And it should be remixable, otherwise we can download it.
No, that was.
Yeah.
Actually, there is another side.
Second one.
That
Looks like Totoro.
one, it does, though it comes with.
Oh, his eyes are glowing. I don't remember that.
Let's search here. There is another site called Sketchfab. Downloadable only, yes. Oh, this one is kind of cute, right? Okay, let's take this tutorial. And download here. And hopefully this time it will be centered and reasonably sized. So, open and copy and use. So as you can also see, along with the GLDF file, there is always one bin file and sometimes textures, and you need to copy everything. So if you want it to work. So let's change it. The name of the new file was scene, and whoa, big one. So I'm going to show you a new feature of A-Frame that helps with this situation. It's called the inspector. Alt-Control-I give me a good view of this world where I can just go up, move up, wow, move a lot of up, a lot of up. That's a huge tutorial. And then in this situation, I can actually change the parameters of the world, and yeah, I can make it smaller, like scale it, let's say 0, 1, 0, 1. Now it's mesh tutorial. 0, 1. It seems like this size is a little bit more reasonable. Yes, it seems like it's a good size. So now that we know the size, we can actually copy the new HTML and my computer. Okay, and now we can just paste it here and delete the original one. Basically what it did, it just added a new scale attribute with the new size. So instead of having to write the code ourselves, we can just use this feature to place the object and set our sizes and everything, and then just copy the code to our files. So we don't need to write code anymore. Alright, so let's remove the sphere, and we got this tutorial in Japan. It's homeland, and to make it even more interesting, I'm going to animate tutorial. So I'm going to add an animation. We will, what do you say? Or rotate. All right, let's rotate. Property rotation, and we can rotate it to 0, 0, 360 and see what happens. Alright, that's fine.
Maybe the 360 needs to be one of the other.
Yeah, maybe y-axis will do better. Alright, it rotates around the tail, but it's still fine. Let's tell it to loop. And it rotates in a funny way, so we can change it to using linear, which will tell it to rotate linearly. But actually, I think I like more the first one, right? It's more fun. Let's make it a little bit slower. And we got rotating tutorial. Now, if we want to make it more fun, we need to have some more tutorials. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to some JavaScript that will simply clone this tutorial. So I will move it out of the scene. I will give it an ID of Totoro, and the next thing I'm going to do is to create a script element. Let's call it game.js, and now the tutorial is gone because I moved it out of the scene, so it's no longer displayed in the scene. And I can create the game JavaScript file and say hello, just to see that it works. Hello, Saka. Worked, and I can start creating first of all, let me get hold of the Toro. Query selector. Let's get the element called Toro. And I'm also going to get the scene, so I can clone the Toro and put it into the scene. Query selector. We want a scene that we created. And then let's write a function, create clone, that will create a clone just by taking Totoro and cloning it, and add a new clone to the scene element. Not clone, create clone, and now if everything works fine, we should get exactly the same thing as we had before. We should have Totoro. But to make it more fun, we can run this in a loop. How many times do you say?
1,000.
I heard 1. 1,000. All right. Oh, 1,000. Ooh.
That's probably excessive.
We will try it. We'll probably go down very, very fast. But first of all,
You can displace them somehow?
you're good. What's your name?
Karen.
Karen, you're. So, I don't know how, but.
'Cause otherwise they're all layered on top of each other.
Right, I got this magical function somehow called random position that returns random x, y, and z. Let's actually change the y to 0, so they will be on ground. And then I can call clone set attribute and set the position attribute of each of the clones to random position. You're a good Karen. And now let's see my computer dying because there are 1,000 of them.
10 would
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, I think we'll go down to like 15 or something like that. If my computer can ever recover from this. Who said 1,000? Let's open a new tab, that's the best way to go. Alright,
Oh,
so now we have 15, and it seems like it almost works. Maybe it's because of the Apple hardware, I don't know. Yeah, so now we have 15 tutorials dancing. And I think that's all we need if you want to start creating a game out of them. So the first thing we'll do, we'll add some interaction to them. And in order to do that, we need to add some element that we can interact with. If we had a VR headset, that would have been VR controls that would let us use the controllers. But since I only have here this small controller, I will create a cursor, and I'm going to put it inside the camera. So whenever I move in the scene, this cursor will move with me. As you can see, this is my, okay, you can't see because the camera is but let me move. And you can see this circle in the middle. This is my cursor. Actually, we can give it a white color so it will be easier to see. So we have the cursor, and now we can use it to. Oh, this tutorial is really. We can use the cursor to listen for events. So we can say clone dot add event listener, and whenever somebody clicks, we can say hi. Kiss. Alright, and now we'll reload, find a tutorial, and you can see that whenever we click on a tutorial, it dies. Yeah. So whenever you click on a tutorial, if it's not in your face, it says kiss. Alright, so what we are going to do now, whenever you click on one, I want to collect them. So let's create an animation first that will bring the tutorial to me. So we'll use the animation again, the animation attribute again, but this time we're going to animate a different property. Let's call this animation collect. The name doesn't really matter, just need to have a different name. So I'm going to animate the position to 0, 0, 0, I don't want to look that. Actually, that would be funnier. And now you can see all tutorials come to me and go back, come to me and going back. So first of all, let's remove the loop. So it will happen only once. Explosion of tutorials, rotating. And then the next thing we want to do. Hello there. We actually want to create, to tell it not to start automatically, only if we give it an event. So I just told it to start its animation whenever, that was hard, to start its animation, and no more tutorials? To start its animations only when there is a collect event. So now what I can do, I can create this event whenever there is a click. So I can call clone, .dispatch event, and create a new event and call it collect. So now when I will click the tutorial, what is going to happen? It's going to, that's fine. Okay, it came to me, yes, it attacked me. Yeah, I will go back so we can see this in action. So whenever I click tutorial, it doesn't do anything, I guess. Let's try that again.
Very quick.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's coming to me. So it's really scary when a big tutorial comes to you. So we are going to create a second animation and shrink the tutorial. So we are going to change the scale of the tutorial to 0, 0, 0, shrink it to really small, and it will have the same start event. So these animations, the position and the scale will start together. And let's refresh so I don't get tutorial in front of my face. Should change this random. And which one will we take? I will take you, buddy. Yeah, let's make it a little bit faster. And now I can basically collect all the tutorials I have here and shrink them into my pocket. But then, yeah, but then at some point it gets a little bit boring because I'm running out of tutorials, right? Like, I only have 15, not 1,000 as you wanted. And now there are no more tutorials in this world. Yeah, no more tutorials. It's not here. Sometimes they hide in the floor like really tiny, but not in this case. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create, to listen for a new event that is called animation complete. That would be add event listener, animation complete. So whenever the animation complete, let's say Gurashi.
What
Now,
does that mean?
I thought you'd know.
I don't speak Hebrew, is that?
That's the name of, there is like funny characters. Do you remember the name, Ariela? The first word? I forgot it. We'll find that later. I will bring another reference then. Calcifer. You need to watch more Ghibli movies. Alright, anyway, this works. And now, whenever I finish the animation, I can take this tutorial that was just collected and do two things to it. First of all, I can set a position. Actually, I will do what I'm best at doing, copy-pasting code. So I'll give it a new position. And the second thing, since we made it really, really tiny, I will scale it back to that was 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. So now, whenever I collected a tutorial, it will actually make another tutorial appear somewhere else. You will see it in a moment when we are lucky enough to have random returning the right numbers. Or maybe not. I'm going to collect them. Oh, yes, sorry. So now you know that it works. Boor.
There goes
Yeah,
one.
there it is. And now I think there is only one thing missing in order for this game to be complete. Any ideas what is that?
A way to win?
A score, way to win. Yes, yes, exactly that.
You never get rid of any tutorials the way you have.
Well,
A tutorial.
that's true. You can't. You can't get rid of the tutorials. So we can create a new text and give it a value. Let's say score. Score. Where are you, Apex? Oh, we need to give it a position. And it's inside the camera, so it's going to move together with me. Let's say 0.8. That would be pretty close to me. And there is no text today for us. Oh, I know. Let's check it with the inspector. Perhaps it's just too high. So we see everything we created here, the camera and the text. And where is this text? No text for us. Or it has value, it has a position, but for some reason it doesn't render. Interesting. Let's try to reload just to make sure.
You need to give it a color?
The what?
A color or something?
We can try. It should have a default color of white. Let's try to put it outside the camera and see if that works.
Does it have a scaling value to me?
It has, but the default should be, I mean, yeah. Interesting. Should I open my cheat sheet? Let's open the cheat sheet and see if I got anything wrong here. So this is the A-Frame website where apparently internet is lost. Interesting. So now it's time to find the Wi-Fi password. Which one?
I have no idea.
So that explains why the text didn't work, because the font couldn't be loaded.
Oh,
Oh, LAN cable. Where are you, LAN cable? This one?
Yeah. If you have a lot of
Yes, of course. It's not an Apple, you know. Alright. LAN cable.
Can you not use a local font?
I could probably, but it will take, like, it needs a 3D font, so it would take a lot of time to set this up. So basically it could, but one of the things about A-Frame is that it tries to do everything for you. Alright, let's see if it works now. Let's put it back in the camera. And we have the text.
Yeah.
Yes!
works.
And let's give it a more Japanese color, like salmon. And we can put it a little bit to the left.
Accessibility.
5 and see, let's 0.8. And let's also move it up a little bit. So since it's inside, okay, that was too much. Since it's inside my camera, now when I move, I actually see the score. And last thing we need to do is just to update the value. So let's call it score, and then I can do score element equals to document.query selector score. That's how we call it.
So if it's inside the camera, does that mean when you're looking at it stereoscopically that it looks really close compared to the scene? Or-
Right. It's like in front of you. That's why it's so big. If we moved it farther, it was smaller. And then it's always in front of you. There are no less tutorial. So let's just add this feature. Let's create a new function, call it update score, and it will take the score, set attribute, value should be score with the value of the score variable, and then we can do let score equals 0, and let's solve it at the beginning first, and then whenever we collected it thorough, just score plus plus, update score, and then where is the score? I probably had some stupid JavaScript error. Is there any error?
When you added the ID, I think you deleted the text
Did I do that?
or part of it. Yeah, the text.
Oh, it's
Okay.
text. Right. You're sharp. Thank you. All right. And now we can start collecting tutorials and play the game. And we even get 2. Which is better.
You have 2 animations that play, which is why the event fires twice.
You are brilliant. Yes, that's correct. That's the reason. We have 2 animations, and that's why the event fires twice, and we get twice the score, which is twice the good. Yeah, so basically that was a quick introduction to WebVR and A-Frame, and if we had a headset, you could see me here with the headset turning around and shooting all these tutorials. But if you have one at home, you can definitely try it. I'm going to put the link to the source code in the page of this meetup group, so you can check it out later. And I hope this inspired you to start playing with this amazing technology. So thank you.
Do you have any questions? We have 45 minutes.
2 questions. All right.
You were pressed on. Okay, all right. When you're using a headset, let's say a headset that is containing the processor, is it easy to use the remote controller within the WebVR?
So about using the remote controller of any headset with WebVR, yes, it's pretty easy. If I had a headset here, I would show you that the same code would work with a headset. Whenever I click the controller, like point it at some object, it would cast a ray. So I would see like a laser coming from my controller and hitting this tutorial. And whenever I would press the button, that would fire a click event. And I could also listen for mouse down, mouse up. And for other events, like if I had a joystick, I could use thumb left, thumb right. And there are also other kind of controls that give you like hands. So you get 3D models of hands that works with different headsets and controllers. And whenever you like press the trigger, it closes the hand or something like that. So basically that's one of the biggest powers of A-Frame and WebVR, that you get one interface that works across many headsets and also with like a computer or a mobile phone.
And you have also your degree of freedom, like can you see the actual remote controller moving in the WebVR?
Yeah, you just see it like you see it outside like the WebVR, like in any other VR experience. Like when you move your controller or controllers, you see them, or your hands or whatever you attach there. It's like another object where you can attach stuff to. So you can also put tutorials and pick them up and attach them to one of your hands, or do whatever you want with basically these controllers. So yeah, basically anything you can imagine to do with VR, you can probably do with WebVR as well. And one question?
Sorry, could I ask what type of file the background files are, and if it's possible not to use the preload one, but to make our own?
Like this background?
Yes.
So this is using a plugin of A-Frame called Environment, and they have some presets and also some parameters that you could change. So basically there is this bunch of parameters that will let you change, but this is just a plugin that lets you get something on the screen, something nice on the screen real quick. Basically you can just put any 3D objects that you like, and you can also take a photo with a 3D camera or a video with a 3D camera and play it like as the environment.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And one.
Yeah, so in VR, things like teleportation and step turning are very common movement paradigms.
I want you to ask about it. Perfect question. So I didn't show it to you, but there is A-frame teleportation controller that basically teleport controls, but basically, and it's funny that the second result was teleport controls doesn't work. But yeah, I tested it and it basically gives you this kind of,
nice.
So you can use your controller and it
A
gives you
parabolic
this
arm
kind.
too. That's nice.
Yeah, and you basically attach it inside the camera and then you can make it teleport the camera.
That's nice.
So with the computer you can use the keys to move, and then when you get this VR headset on, the only way to move is with something like teleport controls or writing some logic in the code that moves the camera.
Right.
So thanks for the question. And there was another one?
A more boring question. So, like, what other kind of 3D assets can you use? Like, can you use like a 3D CAD model?
So what kind of models you can use here? So the best format to use is GLTF, and some of the software like Blender support exporting to GLTF. It also supports formats like OBJ and FBX, and I think also Collada. You can find like the complete list online. I know that you can also load animated models. So if you look in reality. So if you look here, this is actually demo I did with A-frame and augmented reality, not virtual reality. That's one of the parks in Israel. And basically this is a model that I downloaded from a website with all the animation. And you can check out later the blog post. It explains how to play the animations, and actually you can't hear it right now because the sound is muted, but I'm actually using voice control to tell them what to do. So yeah, that's when you visit Israel, go to Hayarkon Park. That's where.
We have dinosaurs there.
So yeah, any other questions? Okay, perfect. Just in time.
Thank you very much.